Welcome to Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. Check out my leeks. We're going to make some leek and potato soup today. Come along. Oh. This is what I had in mind when I planted leeks in October of last year. This is what I had in mind. Now, we're going to have to clean our cutting board several times today. But we'll take our roots off, and I like some of the green in here. We're going to go with some of this green, but the deader leaves I'm going to take off. And then there's dirt all in leeks. Every leek has dirt in it. Rather than clean it now, we're going to split it. You can see the dirt. And we're going to cut up our leeks and put them in a water bath. So I'm just going to take and cut them into, maybe 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch wide strips. And as we rinse off the leek, the dirt will fall to the bottom, and we'll repeat this process several times. What our goal is for this recipe is that we want 1.5 pounds of leeks chopped. If you go to the store to get your leeks, you might want to make sure you buy 4 or 5 large leeks so that you will have 1.5 pounds of processed food at the end. That's what we're after. What we're going to do is just rub the leek in your hands and massage it. And this will cause the dirt to fall out from in between all those pieces and float to or sink to the bottom of the water. I'm just skimming off the top, letting all that dirt go down to the bottom. And once we've done this a couple of times, we'll have some clean leeks. Okay, that's round one. We're going to dump our leeks back in our giant bucket and rinse them again. Here's a tip. Get yourself a gigantic bowl. Every household needs 1 or 2 gigantic bowls. This bowl has been so useful. I'm chasing a little bug there. This bowl has been so useful that it's featured in several of my fermenting videos and in my kimchi video. You gotta have a bowl like this to make kimchi. But yeah, we got this at our local Asian grocery store, supporting our local Asian community, shopping there, and I have not regretted it. All right, let's start skimming stuff that doesn't look good. I think we're probably going to be okay after this pass. If you came to my video by searching up how to cook leek and potato soup, well, first of all, thank you for stopping by. Second of all, how'd you like to grow the leeks? That's what my channel is chiefly about. I'm a gardening channel, and we grew these leeks. Half of them from seed, half of them from starts. And you can too. If you're interested in gardening, growing the food that we like to eat, then I invite you to subscribe to my channel. And if you're here because you're a gardener wanting to know what to do with all these wonderful leeks that we grow, well, thanks for stopping by again, coming back. I know that many of you on my channel, many of my subscribers, they really like my cooking videos, and I'm glad that we could do those. All right, I think we're done. That's what we've got. That is 1.5 pounds of diced up or minced up, chopped up leeks. Let's go to the next step. All right, we need us a soup pot of some sort, and you put in 1/2 stick of butter. You could use a little more. I've seen recipes call for a little bit more than that, but we're going to start with 1/2 stick of butter. This is kind of a French recipe. And that's a French way of doing things. And we're going to have to let this cook for half an hour, maybe even more. We want to break down those leeks to where they're basically mush. And that's what this pot is all about. Did you know there is a trick to help the butter not burn? And that is add a little oil with the butter. A little bit of olive oil in there, just a little. And that will help the butter not to burn. We have our butter melty. We're going to go ahead and put our leeks in there, get them cooking. And I'm trying to avoid the water that's in the bottom. That's why I'm not just dumping it in. In fact, I'm going to pour off some of that water. I'm going to try and get all those coated in that butter, so I'm going to toss them around a bit. Make a mess on my stovetop here. I don't want to do that. Okay, so at this point you want to put some salt in it as well. I'm just going to put a big pinch and then another big pinch. And now, while we're waiting on these to render down and sweat out and become wonderful, let's trim some potatoes, peel some potatoes and cut them up. I chose Yukon Gold because they're our favorite potato. We like the consistency, the flavor, the color. But you could use russets if you wanted to. Suppose you could use any kind of potato you wanted. If you keep these in water while you're waiting to use them, they won't go brown on you. Our potatoes are ready. Have yourself a box of chicken broth. We're going to use 3/4 to all of that, about 4 cups. That's a 4-cup box. These leeks here are looking pretty good at about 23 minutes in. They'll probably need to go another 15 or 20 minutes. Go as long as you can. Longer is better. Those leeks are locally sourced. You know how they have, it's big and popular now to say that you can trace your source. You can trace the origin of your food. Well, let's trace the origin of those leeks, because I got to go out there anyway. Here we go. Walk with me. Let's see. There's Phoebe. Come on. There's Phoebe's little bed. All right. Let's go to the source. Here's the source of our onions. Here's the source of our green beans, and here's our leeks. The leeks that we are cooking came from those empty spots right there and the empty spots over there. Yeah, look at that. That's what they look like before you trim them down. Big, long things like that. Well, here's the herb bed. Gonna need some green onions. Well, what do we have here? We got some green onions. These were transplanted. I moved them. This is Ishikura Improved. It's a very good bunching onion. It's a Japanese variety, and I've grown it for years, and it grows through harsh summers and everything. So let's grab a few of those. Let's see. Let's just grab a couple of those. We don't need much. It's just for garnish. Okay, it's been 40 minutes. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. They're starting. I had to turn the heat down because once the cast iron gets up, you know, gets the heat stored in it, it keeps radiating. I had to turn the heat down a little bit. That's about where we want them. We want them soft enough where when we blend them, they're going to basically liquefy. So now the next step, we're going to take our potatoes that we've drained. We're going to add that to the pot, and we're going to add our liquid. In this case, chicken stock, chicken broth. You could use whatever, vegetable, chicken. We're going to add that to the pot, just enough to cover those potatoes, which will probably take pretty much most of this. Yeah, there we go. That's good enough. Most of this box. Now what we're going to do is bring these up to a simmer, and we're going to simmer until our potatoes are soft. That'll take, what? Depends on how big you chop them, right? I'm expecting about another half an hour. So I'll leave these here for half an hour. As they cook, that those leeks will soften up even further down below. Let's give it another half an hour. All right, let's take a check on our potatoes. They've been in here not too long, about almost 30 minutes. And can we mash them against the side? Yeah, I think we're there. So here's what we have to do next. The next step is to take an immersion blender and liquefy this. I'm going to do it directly in the pot. I'll just be careful that I don't scratch the coating on my ceramic pot. But we're going to turn the heat off, and we're just going to blend this up. It's going to take some time. I'm just going to move around, get those chunks of potato blended. I started a little bit before 6 o'clock, and it is now 7:20. I would plan at least an hour and a half. And if you really want to do it right, go low and slow on those leeks. And give yourself 2 hours overall. All right, you want to put some salt in. I've already salted it off scene. But if you want to make it a little more runny or liquidy, you can put some more stock in there. But we have to add a cup of heavy cream. Look at that. A cup of heavy cream. Let's mix some more, see what we get. We want to put a big dollop or two of crème fraiche. This is a French cream that has been cultured, and it's almost like a sour cream. And I happened to find this at my local grocer in the specialty section in the cheese department. We want to add, well, let's go with that much, and maybe a little more. There we go. And I think we are going to need some more chicken stock. This is not a bold dish that is so savory it knocks your shoes off. This is a dish, a soup to be satisfying in its subtlety. There's a little something that didn't get ground up in there. We will take that out because he might just be a little bit too hard of a piece. Could use a little bit of pepper. Now the right pepper to use would be like a white pepper to keep the beauty of this dish intact. But I don't mind a little color. So put some cayenne in there. This is cayenne from the garden. And now let's just stir it in. Stir it in, get everything blended nicely. And that, my friends, is the cooking part. We want to make sure that we bring this back up to a piping hot temperature. This soup ought to be served pretty hot. And there we have it. A little dollop of crème fraiche in the middle. Some green onions for garnish. That's going to be good. All right, time to try it. This is so good. And as the taste lingers, you start to pick up on the subtleties. There's a sweetness in those leeks. I think the potato hits you first, but then there's a sweetness in the leeks, and you get that very light garlic onion, kind of an aftertaste. It's almost like it's in your breath. It fills your nasal cavity. It's almost like a shallot, but not as powerful. Yeah, that's good. The potato is forward. The leek makes it, oh, it's so subtle, but it's so good. This is pretty much considered one of the greatest soups in the whole world. When you serve it hot, it's called potato leek soup. When you serve it cold, it has a French name that I'll put on the screen, and I'm not going to try to say it. But I'll tell you what, this is probably the best soup I've ever made. And I've said that about soups on my channel before, but this is the top. Well, folks, thank you for joining me for another cooking video to show you how we cook our produce that we grow in our garden. If you'd like to learn how to garden in a small backyard context and grow things like these awesome leeks that we're eating today, follow our channel, follow along. If you appreciate this video just because you're looking for a cooking video, I thank you for spending time with us. And well, happy gardening and happy cooking to you. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.